Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very kind of big news to go and hide over here, where it came from a lot of stock and stock earnings. Now, as you guys probably know, when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox, we've been kind of going and seeing a little bit of a taper off. When it comes to the economy, there's not as much consumer spending. When it comes to the overall gaming sphere, people are kind of trying to get a good value out of their games, and I think a lot of people have been oversold high quality, quote unquote, AAA games, and just people don't necessarily want to spend as much money, whether it comes to consoles, subscriptions, games, or whatever it might go and be. But we have a lot of big news that's been coming out from earnings when it comes to Starbucks, McDonald's, and one of the bigger things is specifically from AMD, which is the maker of the PlayStation and Xbox, talking about just huge looming sales where people are just not wanting to buy stuff, profits are going down, and at the end of the day, I'm not really sure how much we should be concerned about it, but if for anyone who's invested in financial markets and all that, you may want to be a little bit concerned. So make sure you guys are subscribed as we go throughout the video and give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below. We do have the Twitter and Twitch room as well, and I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Let's go and dive on into the video itself. So as I want to go and highlight, because it's a very intriguing comment. Now, this is going to be a little bit more of like an earlier pre-market video, but I just want to make sure it's out for you guys. We've been seeing a lot of very intriguing things in regards to stocks. Now, if you guys, I'm not really sure exactly how the stocks will be as throughout the day, but as we're making the video before hours happen for, stocks, etc., a lot of stocks have been kind of getting roughed up. Good examples, if you look at Starbucks, is down 13% on the pre-market as of right this second. And as well, we're also seeing a lot of big issues when it comes to McDonald's, posting rare profit miss as customers are turning picky. So right now, we're kind of just seeing a lot of big things on these big consumer, kind of somewhat classy, quote-unquote, markets. So think of McDonald's, Burger King, like fast food, and a lot of these places that are trying to somewhat gouge out, well, things in general. This might be a completely separate video that I may want to make in my second channel or something for fun, but when it comes to this stuff, we're seeing a lot more less discretionary spending for things, and that's somewhat concerning. Mainly in the video game industry, we had a huge influx when it comes to money and revenue and profit when a lot of people had more money to spend, when the economy was doing very well, obviously a lot of stimulus money or whatever it might be, COVID money, especially for gaming. And right now it seems like the economy as a whole is getting very concerned and kind of on the overblown side. Starbucks, as you guys can see, is down 13% because they're just not making enough money, which is totally fine. Like in my mind, I do think things like Starbucks, it's really hard to spend $7 on a coffee. McDonald's, some things are like $13 for an entire meal, and McDonald's is meant to be the place where it's like the cheap meal. You go and you drive on through after work, you get an easy burger, and why would I want to spend $13 at McDonald's when, although a lot of people meme on places like, say, Five Guys, I'd rather go drop the extra $3-4 and get something that actually tastes like meat and get a bigger amount of fries, and while it's still unhealthy because it's a burger, a little bit probably more on the healthier side. But a lot of people are just assuming things are going to be going rough because people don't want to spend more money. And this kind of goes in regards now to AMD. Right this second, AMD actually was doing some huge dropping. They were doing okay in a lot of AI, as I'm sure you guys know, AI has been kind of the new flavor of the month. But at the same exact time, this has been on the crazy side because we have a very specific thing where AMD itself, which is the maker and helper of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, has said that they have lost huge amounts of money when it comes to them making their consoles. So what first and foremost, the consoles themselves are not doing so good. The PlayStation and Xbox, as somewhat expected though, it's like in the midterm of their life cycle. A lot of people who wanted to get their consoles, well, probably got them, and at this point it does seem like things are kind of calming down in terms of overall sales. We did make a video yesterday, if you guys want to check it out, discussing more so on Square Enix, that was also in a really big sales slump, where Final Fantasy both 16 and the new remake weren't really selling as much as anticipated, whether it's for just the PlayStation 5 install base, or whether it's for the economy being a little bit lower, or maybe the games are meh, who knows. But right now it does seem like gaming, especially as consoles, are kind of just free-falling. Right now, where there's not as big. Another good example is basically Xbox itself has been having horrible sales. Now, they're still doing well, they're still making millions of dollars, but in terms of millions, it's not the same as billions. And although this article itself is like one of those you have to go read for it, to kind of go give you the rundowns, basically gaming was one of the worst segments of consoles, or one of the worst segments of Microsoft, where Microsoft themselves were not necessarily really losing money, but it was very close when it comes to Xbox hardware. Now, once again, we're talking about the consoles themselves. Gaming as a whole did well. Activision did pretty good when it came to them, and it's on the same exact time, they made good money on game sales, Game Pass subscriptions, and same with PlayStation Plus, they're doing okay. game streaming as a whole are all around doing okay. But once again, the console was very, very barely making money. And at this point, maybe as of these next few months, especially what we got from today on AMD, it does seem like it will be losing even more money. And right now it shows in how weak these consoles are. So AMD, the company itself, did fine. They had good earnings per share. They had okay revenue. They've done a lot more stuff and focused of AI, like cloud hosting and computing, which at the end of the day makes a lot of sense. But one of the bigger things to go and note is that they really didn't make a lot of money. Data centers, look, grew up 80% year over year to $2.3 billion thanks to their AI chips. And as well, they also said that, say, like, Microsoft, Meta, and Oracle uses of their AMD chips had sold over $1 billion in chips since its launch in its fourth quarter. And then also AMD had $4 billion in AI chips as well from the $3.5 billion forecast before. NVIDIA as well also reported a $18.4 billion in sales, mostly from AI chips too as well. But the one big thing to go and note, and this is the big thing, which is kind of like the whole segment. So I'm just trying to highlight the other ones to show that AMD was doing well. AI was doing good. Data centers are doing good. Cloud hosting was doing good. These individual companies and outside perspectives of it were doing very well. But once again, AMD's weakest division was its gaming segment, which, as we even saw from these articles saying Xbox hardwares continue to fall. It's nuts. Like, this is rough because PlayStation also toned down their projections a few months ago, and so far they have been on point, saying like, yeah, this has been an issue, saying it was down 48% year over year to only 922 million, which you guys might be thinking that's huge, but think about both for PlayStation and Xbox chips that are being basically made by AMD. That is horrible. That's really bad. And this is, I would be somewhat concerned about their growth because PlayStation's like, oh, we're going to go and sell over 100 million PlayStation 5s. Xbox themselves just trying to go and maintain and get at least like in the 50 million marks, whatever it might be. And it does seem like this is slowing down a lot. Like, the overall economy as a set, like, as a whole, does seem like it's slowing down a lot. Just saying, so this basically, which is the company said, was due to lower chip sales for game consoles and PCs. AMD makes chips for Sony's PlayStation 5 and also does stuff with Xbox. For example, AMD's gaming sales trailed a street account estimate of 969 million. So it's down even lower than the expected numbers that they were anticipating. So I'll be very curious to go and see what Sony's basically big shareholder meeting is going to be, because it does seem like these sale numbers are going down a lot. AMD's original business processors for chips and PCs is reported as client segment revenue. AMD reported $1.4 billion in its first quarter sales too as well, which actually did have a big increase, also suggesting that last year's PC slump is over. So even on that, it does show that more people and companies and businesses are switching over to PC, which also might be correspondent to maybe NVIDIA, might be correspondent to AMD, like being like GPUs and CPUs and people building PCs and moving their gaming to PCs as a whole. So it really does seem like these consoles are falling even more. And we've had this idea before on our channel, basically discussing the fact that Xbox should probably just move to PC, and the Xbox console might be just going and phasing away, maybe not instantaneously, but at some point in the near future, probably will. And people are concerned about it. They're talking about it, which I would probably be in the same exact boat too as well. And then at the same time, it seems like people are just moving to AM for PC. So AMD's even reports are saying this. And while AI and other various things are important, we're also are even seeing things like PlayStation or Xbox integrating those into those consoles, which is fine. We are still kind of sitting here realizing that console cycles are going down, and they might have a big bounce up because, like I said, this is a multiple year cycle. A lot of people who want their consoles probably already have them, myself included, or something with the PS5 Slims, etc. Like, it makes sense, they're all there. But at the same also exact time, like, it's just rough. Like, it just seems like the economy itself is kind of going in the hole, and a lot of this discretionary spending is kind of going down, which also might affect actual video games. Like, don't forget when we're back in 2021, 22, 23, like, we have the pandemic going on, and that was a big sale and proponent towards games and people buying games and getting games. Or look at, like, the first Final Fantasy game for the PS4. People were home, they wanted to play it. But right now, it seems like the money's not really there. People had to deal with a lot of inflation, which is rough, and big things like McDonald's and Starbucks are getting hit, but that also would, by proxy, affect gaming consoles. They are expensive. They're more of like a want rather than a need. And at the same time, it does seem like, especially from AMD, that consoles are going down. And that's a little bit on the roughy side too, because we want them to go and keep on selling well and making money, but it does seem as of right this second, they are, like, we should be worried. Like, the PlayStation, Xbox are getting phased out. They're not making as much money. The install base is slowing down, and even the people that are making them are having issues and losing money due to it. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments on this, because it is kind of big in the whole general stock market scheme, and I appreciate y'all very much for watching in the first place.